Boy, things can change fast around here, can't they? We started the month of May way below average with temperatures in the 30s and 40s in the mornings, and now it looks like summertime is starting to set in for us here across most of central Alabama and most of the southeast for that matter. Now, this is the forecast for the Birmingham area going through the weekend and next week, and not a lot of day-to-day change here, but we are talking about quite a few showers and thunderstorms. And look at these complexes of thunderstorms that are going on here on this Monday afternoon. You got one in South Alabama. We got one in southeastern Texas and Louisiana. Look how that thing is just really blowing up there close to Texas, or over Texas and close to the Houston area. And then up here to the north, this batch of thunderstorms, well, that's the one that we are a bit more concerned about for especially North Alabama and southern Tennessee. So those storms are going to be moving southeast through the night, even down toward the Memphis area as well. After midnight, there will be a risk of a few severe thunderstorms over the northern quarter of the state of Alabama and into a good chunk of Tennessee as well. At 5:41 p.m., just a line of intense storms developing south of Kansas City, down toward the southwestern parts of the St. Louis area, south of Rolla, and west of Cape Girardeau. And you can see which way they're moving. Those headed southeast. Looks like that first batch would head toward Nashville. This batch would be more in line to maybe hit the Shoals or possibly even North Mississippi. Just depends on how they all fan out here over the next 12 hours or so. And the reason that we expect the storms to take that path, look at how the upper air winds are traveling. Look at that. It goes almost west to almost north. So from Wichita to southern Missouri, down to North Alabama, from near Oklahoma City, across Arkansas, down toward North Mississippi. Now the question is, will these storms hold together as they get into Alabama? The Storm Prediction Center outlines a risk of a few severe thunderstorms, maybe as far south as Huntsville, Decatur, Summerville, possibly Arab, Gunnersville, maybe Rainsville, Geraldine, Scottsboro, Florence, Muscle Shoals, down into the Russellville area. But you notice who's not in this? Hamilton, Cullman, Gadsden, Center, Albertville, Boaz. There's always some wiggle room here. Now, is it possible that a severe thunderstorm could develop in Etowah County or Cullman County early in the morning, after midnight through about 6 a.m.? Yeah, it's possible. Is it extremely likely? Yeah, not exactly. I don't think that's where we're going to end up with this particular round of storms. But you can see up to the north, the risk of a severe storm is much greater in the Ohio River Valley, into Missouri, northern Arkansas, Tennessee. I think this has more to do with the clustering of the storms that are going to be moving across Missouri, just like this. That's how they're going to come south, something like that. And as they get to this last point, and that would be somewhere about, say, 3 o'clock in the morning or so. Let's just do 3 a.m. right here. 3 a.m. line is going to be somewhere in North Alabama. So we start looking at that. Got the storms getting into the northern part of the state. Maybe a couple of them still have some power to them. Here's the forecast model. This is the HRRR, the HRRR. It has not been the best performer lately. Just keep that in mind. So here's 2 a.m. Remember I said that we might have storms as far south as North Alabama by that point? Well, look at the amount of fuel we have. And this is going to kind of roll through it. Look at that. We go from this high energy air here over North Alabama, southern Tennessee, to not much down here in central Alabama or northwest Georgia. Sure, it's enough for thunderstorms, but it's not that much. We'll roll it on forward through time. Watch those storms come down through the Shoals and the Huntsville area. This has all happened by 6 to 7 a.m. And then what's left is a little broken up line of showers that doesn't have a lot of fuel to work with. By the time it gets into, say, a Jasper or a Gadsden or Aniana, by the time it gets to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa here, we might have a little bit of lightning with a couple of these downpours between 6 and 7 a.m. around Jefferson County and Tuscaloosa County, Pickens County. I'm not really counting on a lot with that. But then watch this. This is kind of neat. We end up with an environment that is somewhat rain-cooled up here to the north. So there's a little boundary that sets up between the rain-cooled air that's up to the north and the slightly drier air, or the slightly more humid air, rather, that's down here to the south. So we've got that boundary that sets up right in this zone right here, and south of that boundary, in the much more unstable areas where it's pretty likely that new thunderstorms will develop into the afternoon. And watch this. I think the HRRR is doing a pretty good job with this explosion of thunderstorms. Now, is it exactly over Montgomery County and Elmore County and Autauga County, or does this end up over Shelby, Talladega, and Tuscaloosa and Jefferson? It's just hard to say. But understand that a few miles like this, and in this case, the difference between Montgomery and Alabaster, 44 miles. That's nothing to a computer model. So when we're dealing with especially scattered thunderstorms in the summertime, know that there's some baked-in uncertainty. Here's what the futurecast rainfall totals would look like using the HRRR. And you can see that you've got that second cluster here. You've got the first cluster here. Most places are ½ inch or less. A few places are ½ inch or more out of those heavy afternoon downpours. So what comes into North Alabama tonight, not likely to be all that intense. What moves into Central and South Alabama tomorrow afternoon may end up being a bit heavy. So here's that 7-day forecast. Tuesday, the high in Birmingham at 87. Let's check it out statewide here. 87 Huntsville, but 83 Coleman, 85 Snead. The difference here being that, I think we probably got some rain-cooled air helping out in Winston County, Coleman County, and Blount County. Maybe not so much from Etowah County and St. Clair and Jefferson southward, where I think it's easily 86, if not 87, with a heat index. That's close to 90. That's to be expected this time of year. Wednesday, fewer storms. Thursday, greater coverage of storms. Same thing on Friday. We get into the weekend here, and there might be an isolated storm, but I think it's more about just what it feels like. It's going to be hot and humid, kind of sticky. High temperatures in the upper 80s. Feels like temperature around 90 in Birmingham, but it may feel like as hot as 90 to 95 over parts of West Alabama for the upcoming weekend. And then a better chance of some scattered thunderstorms toward Monday of next week. Now, while things have looked warmer than average for a while, I think it's safe to say that we are not going to be that much hotter going into next week. We're not going to continue to build on the heat, but it's not likely to get all that cool, even as a little bit of a break in the humidity arrives toward the end part of next week. So here in the short term, it's just more of the same. We're not expecting widespread changes across central or North Alabama or really even the whole southeast. Just get set for these daily downpours every single day. It is summertime.